Okay, we're live. Cool. Um, I'm gonna count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shaping the Industry. This is our second episode, and this today we're going to be interviewing Mikey Smith. He's a professional piano player in Denver, and he's also a student at UCD. And we're going to be talking to him about his experiences as a professional player and how they've changed over the years and like how he's got there. So, Mikey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Zach. How are you?
I'm doing pretty swell.
All right. All right.
So I guess like the first question is, how long have you been a like professional musician?
Well, I guess the first gig that I ever got paid for, that was probably 20, and I'm 30 now, so about 10 years.
Okay, cool. And so when did you start playing?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was a little kid. I was like 9,
Uh huh.
and I got my first keyboard when I was 18, I think. So I started a little later than most people, but I already had a good deal of musical experience.
Okay. Can you turn down a little bit? Sorry about this. It's going a
Let's
little bit.
see.
Um, so you started playing piano when you were 18, when you're like figuring this out. Uh, Sorry if you can do both at the same time or not.
I think I can. I'm not sure how to turn it down. I'm having
Okay.
a
Let
hard
me.
time finding that setting here. Is that better?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay.
I turned down on my end also,
Uh-huh.
and so hopefully it's like good in the broadcast. If anyone complains, we'll see. Okay.
Okay.
um, so you started playing piano you played for 2 years, and then you got your first paid gig.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. I practiced like a maniac at that point in my life.
Uh
So
huh.
I probably squeezed like a lot of, a lot of time into a little time in terms of experience and practice.
Yeah. So what like made you want to pick up the piano and then like really go for it in those 2 years?
There are a couple reasons. I mean, I love the instrument. I just think the piano sounds so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the first time I heard jazz piano. Is that Vince Guaraldi Christmas record. I'm sure everybody knows that, the Peanuts Christmas.
Uh
And I loved it. I didn't know what
huh.
it was, but it was like my favorite music ever. And yeah, so at that time I was working, 40-hour a week job and going to college, but still just like I just, I just remember I met a friend at school, and he told me that he had a gig that night, and I was like, "What's a gig?" He's like, "Oh, I go to this bar and play music and make money." I was like, "Oh, great! I'll just do that. That sounds like a great job, great life." So
Mm-hmm.
so I was pretty hell bent on it. Yeah,
Yeah. So when you first started, you were doing college and along with that, like 40-hour a week job.
yeah,
And
yeah.
okay, so when did you like start trying to transition fully to becoming like doing music as your job? Like when you were 20, or like did it come out a little bit after that?
Yeah, I wasn't able to support myself completely for a couple
Uh
years.
huh.
Um, so I was working part time, doing other things to pay the bills. But the first I got a gig. It was actually like this. It was an interesting gig. It was with this Moroccan guitarist, and he was playing like 5 6 nights a week. His band was working a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I when he hired me to be his pianist, then that was what enabled me to just start working in music full time.
Okay, cool. Um, so what like would be the biggest contributing factor to your success as a musician?
Um, well, I think generally, especially when I was young, um, I always had I was always really eager to learn, and
Yeah.
I don't feel like I felt like people, even though, because I mean, this happens like 99% of the time is when people are young, they're probably, you know, not the best, not the best players. Like they're probably guys who are older with lots more experience, who've been doing it for a lot longer, who play better than
Hmm.
somebody who's younger. But a lot of times, older, more experienced musicians like to work with younger musicians if they have like a positive attitude or fun to hang out with. And yeah, and I think being that kind of person really really helped me. Like as when an older musician takes you under their wing, so to speak, I think that's very it really contributes a lot to your possibilities, I
Yeah.
think.
So
Hmm.
when you're younger and like learning piano, and guitar, I guess, did you go to teachers to like get them to like bring you under their wing, or like was it more playing gigs and stuff with like older and like players that have been playing a lot longer than you have, or was it a
No, I'd say
combination?
yeah, definitely a combination. I had great teachers. I mean, Justin Adams was my first piano teacher, and he's a great pianist, great teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, but and also both it was both like being taken in by older musicians and also my peer group. Everybody in my peer group at that time was just like was a lot better than me.
Yeah.
Like because I was just starting out, and all those guys had like they were in jazz band in high school, and they all were already good players when they
Mm-hmm.
were just starting off in college. So I just kind of I'm sure I was pretty annoying, but I would just like wouldn't I would just hang on to them, leave hang out with them all the time, and just find ways to like get myself in and play with them and get on gigs or go sit in at gigs or
Mm-hmm.
just a lot of times we have late night jam sessions and we play music till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And I think just that like that total immersion is important.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So what school were you at when you're like doing all that when you first started?
I was at CU Denver.
Okay. Cool.
Uh-huh. So yeah, and so I started at CU Denver as a music business major,
Okay.
and then I sort of I met these guys who are just professional musicians and gigging full time, and I said, all right, well that sounds like something I want to do. So I auditioned once for the performance for the piano performance track, and I failed my first audition. I just wasn't there yet,
Yeah.
So I went and shedded for a year and went back and took it again, got into the program, and then I did about one semester of lessons, and then that's when I got the call from that Moroccan guy, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I started working, 5 6 nights a week, and at that point, school just sort of became extraneous. I couldn't really maintain it with like my lifestyle and having to wake up early and stay up late every night. It
Yeah.
just wasn't happening for me at that time. So
Mm-hmm. So what made your decisions come back? Like when did you come back? And then
I've been back for about 2.5 years now.
okay.
And I think I just reached a point in my life where I just wanted more. Like I just wanted to expand my skill set and find ways because I mean, just gigging full time, like you can make a living, but it isn't necessarily like a sustainable living.
Yeah.
Also, I always felt like my income was always hinged on somebody else, I
Mm-hmm.
like if some bar owner was like, oh, we're gonna cut this gig, or if the band leader with whom I was playing said, we found another guy, we don't want you anymore, then that would be, I wouldn't be able to make money anymore.
Yeah.
So actually I originally was going to go back to CU Denver to study recording, to sort of expand that skill set. But I met Peter Stoltzman because I had to audition to get back into the program, and I met Peter, and he's just such a monstrous musician. He's
Yeah.
just incredible. And so I decided, oh, I think it'll probably help me a lot to actually study formally with this guy. So that was what spurred that decision.
Okay, cool. Um so like you decided to come back and like end up being a performance major, correct? Or are you doing
Hmm.
record? Okay, cool. Um let me just check. So, like, what are the qualities of a pro musician that you see a lot, like, with your peers that really separated them from like amateur musicians and people that kind of quit along the way?
Right. Well, um, they all practice a lot. They're
Hmm.
all very serious about music, and yeah, I learned that like as I was growing up and becoming professional is some people take music extremely seriously, like almost like a religion, you know.
Hmm.
Um, I remember I made a mistake one time. I was actually playing with a reggae artist, and he's from was from Ivory Coast, Africa, and he's great bassist. I mean, by the time I started playing with him, he was a little bit. He was kind of at the end of his career. I think he was kind of a little bit washed up. But I played with him for about a year, um, and I remember one time like I screwed something up you and I missed some cue or some hit, and I was like, oh, whatever, man, it's no big deal. And